It's been a few months now since I launched my second channel, which is nothing to do with esports. It's any other topics I want to talk about. And originally I made one of these videos after I'd released a bunch, kind of outlining what was on my other channel. So here's an update of videos I've done since then. I think I've done something like 8 videos, I think. So they're all going to be in the description box below because I'm testing out end cards at the moment, so I don't have annotations, so it's easier to just go to the description box. So the first one is one called Dishonest, Under-Pinnings of Altruism, and it's a philosophical video, and I outline within this the basic gist is that I don't really think altruism, in kind of the way it's defined by most people, actually exists. Like, I think if you look at life, if we're honest, that's why it's called the dishonest underpinnings. If you're really honest about things, I think in the majority of cases that people act, even when it appears to be altruism, they in some way gain, whether that's like a good feeling or whether that's in some way that they think that they should do that. There's all these reasons as to why I think it's not really the case that it's like pure altruism and that that's really possible to act in that way. Then I did a video on ASMR, which is a sensation that people sometimes get from certain things that are very relaxing. But it's quite a unique experience, and the whole point of that video was I have it. It's a sensation that I get, and I enjoy watching videos that trigger it. And a lot of people, perhaps like me, won't know it exists, and they might have it. So if they have it, then I think it's something where people will actually be quite grateful to discover it, because there's a whole world of videos out there, some very creative and very effective, that can trigger you if you're someone who experiences this sensation. It's called ASMR, an unlikely relaxation sensation. Then I did a video called The Joy of Comics, where I outlined the notion that comics are not just like, a pastime for little kids with simple stories that aren't well written and not good art. No, comics have developed into a medium where it's a very vital medium with some fantastic creators, some all-time great creators, incredible artists, and actually it's possible to do things with comics that you can't do with other mediums. And then I go on to list a bunch of different comics depending on what type of a person you might be or what interest and what might grab your curiosity. I did a movie in line with that called The Magic of More, which is one of my influences series, and this is about the comics creator called Alan Moore, who very much is the Shakespeare. He's the best comic book writer of all time, and he's had a very long career, very storied career, and he's someone who has his own unique philosophy to art and what it is. He actually ties it in. This is part of the reason why I had to play on the tag, the title, where he actually is a practicing magician, and so he considers art and magic to be in some ways the same thing, and to be a direct translation between them in terms of expression and using human symbol sets. And so I also go through his career and outline some of the high points of his career and what made different aspects interesting and to me thought-provoking or enjoyable as pieces of art. I had a video called Nujabes is Not the Exception, which is a music video, and it's about the fantastic instrumental Japanese hip-hop producer Nujabes, who actually is dead at the moment. Well, he's going to be dead forever at this point. And so he's a fantastic artist, but a lot of people, because he's one of the few that has broken through from his subgenre into the mainstream to some degree, or nerd culture, people know about him, but then they think, oh, he's amazing, but there's nothing else like that, is that he was the only one who made music like that. Well, actually, there are a bunch of other people within that subgenre who make music that's similar, but unique in their own way. And some of them are as good or better, perhaps, depending on what tastes you have. So I outlined some of those people. I did a video called Comic Book TV Shows Are Just Soap Opera Reskins. This was about television. And yeah, I mean, the title really explains that one there. Part of the reason why, even though I like comics and I love comics, the best comics are some of the fantastic stories, when some of them get adapted to TV shows, I found that they don't really follow much of the formula of the comics. They don't retain much of the quality of the comics. Often they recast the characters so that they're not in any way like the comics. Famous example would be like Constantine, for example. And as a result, it just ends up becoming a comic, a soap opera, but now the theme is whatever particular comic that is. And as a result, since I'm not really into soap operas, it's not very interesting to me. So I kind of outline my logic and my thinking on that. I did a recent video called Doing It Every Day in the War of Art. And this is a book and philosophy video, because it's about a short book that is really good at helping you identify, conceptualize, combat, and overcome procrastination, and how to be able to sit down every day and do something, and to be able to express yourself and to improve and to just get what you want to done without excuses and rational ways of rationalizing a way that you don't need to do it, etc. And the way he outlines this concept of resistance is really great. And the good thing about the book is it's very, very short. It's very easy to read. The concepts really translate over. And I think a lot of people would gain something from this in terms of being able to start turning their life around to make it the life they want to, but on a day-to-day level, not some grand notion of like a movie and a huge character arc. And then my most recent video was called R.A.W, so Robert Anton Wilson, Pope of Chapel Perilous. And this is one of my influences series. And this is someone who greatly influenced me, especially when I was a younger man. When I was like 19, up to probably about 30, I read his books quite often. Some of them were real touchstone books. He was a guy who was an author, and he was a speaker, and he was a thinker, and he really took a lot of different areas in. He was kind of syncretistic in the way his work operated, and he took in from all different areas, like a lot of fringe topics, but he was a very rational person, and he had his own perspective on things, but then he had so many people within his social circle, inner and outer, like close and far, that he was a fascinating person. And he was really, his writing, it's not that he's like a high level writer, but it's really very readable. It's very fun to read, actually. And so he puts you in touch with a lot of different areas. And I kind of outline his influence on me and then the different aspects of his work that I appreciated and connected to his life's philosophy.